Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of August 5th through the 9th. I will go over price targets, have a gap recap for you from the week of July 29th through August 2nd, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is NIO. We ended the week at $4.05, down 0.25%. This is where we are. To the north side takes us to resistance and a potential take profit area at 424. Above that, at another level of resistance, 436 and roughly 449. To the south side, back at the middle of the trend and another level of support, $4, 377, 365, and roughly 353. This is your buy signal, and again, your other buy signal, and obviously many support levels in between -2 and 2 standard deviations. And up here, this is a potential sell signal, another sell signal, and another sell signal. And looking left, as far as the gaps go, you can see that this gap closed to the downside, touched right there at roughly $4.18, and then continued to fall and bounce here at support. That gap has been in play since Monday, July 1st, roughly. And let me delete this 418. No longer a threat to our account to the south side. Obviously, there are other threats, just not this gap. And then we have this bigger gap. This was the smaller gap within this bigger gap. And that touched to the downside on Thursday, touching down at 413. So this gap, which has been going on since Thursday night, the 25th of April. So that is no longer in play. And it started at 440 and then continued south. So that is done. That target has been met. You never know when it's going to fill. You just know there's a spot that can be filled. And in this case, it did. So that started again at 440, closing down a short here if you were playing to the south side. Done. And doneer. Just kidding. All right. So now we are here. So from here, this turns into resistance up here, and now we're back down at support. And what happens at support? I will anticipate a little bit of a bounce to the upside if we get this level, get to this level. And then notice this little gap. I don't track everything. The standard deviations are going to wipe it out, so I'm not going to bother. But to the north side, this gap, I'm going to clean this up. So out of the gate on Monday, it looked like it touched, but upon closer observation, it did not, and that would have touched at roughly 448, and then it did touch right here at this gap formation, this other gap formation. So that is done at 448, and then we ran all the way to resistance and then cracked. As far as this one, still in play. I have no idea when it's going to touch or where it's going to touch. So you just extend it out, and then like I show you, I just go back and clean it up. So we've got this baby one. That's so tiny, I should not have bothered, because then I have to increase the size of this, and it's just slows me down. So that will take us to 528. We are not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Just something to be aware of. So that is NIO. The next one is SOFI. The whole market is cracking. First, your targets for Monday. So we ended the week at 665, down 7%. To the north side takes us to, let me make this a little smaller, resistance at 682, 734, my previous buy-in areas at 759 and 785. Now to the south side, 630, 604, and roughly 578. As far as the gaps go, this gap touched on Friday. So I told you about this gap going down to 659. That touched. So at least that is no longer a threat to our count to the south side. There are other threats, just not this one. And that started roughly at 673. Now this gap, as you can see, also closed last week, since this is a recap from the prior week. And it touched right here on this green line. So that took us down to 679. That is no longer in play as well. Done. And we've got some room to go down to one level of support. Many levels in between, but the obvious one will be right here. And if we hit that spot, I will definitely anticipate a bounce. And this gap opened up on Thursday night and is still in play to the upside. Let me mark this out. That will take us out to roughly 713. And that will start at 695. And that is definitely in the realm of this level, this outlier at 2 standard deviations. Okay, note the crack at resistance here. As far as any gaps to the south side, I think that is all I am tracking. So if you see no gaps, just play the standard deviations. If you're here, an easy out, if we get here, would be this level. And then, obviously, you'd be staying in longer if we got to this level, if we make it to that level. Turn on your VWAP, your bots to tell you the buy and sell signals. Draw out your trend lines, your Fibonacci replacements. Draw out your patterns, your bull flags, dead cat bounces, teacup and handle, which I can never see. I can't even see a head and shoulder. I don't play that way. Many people do. If you do, you're very talented because I cannot see it. And I've never played it and I do just fine. Okay, so the other gap to the north side. Oh, this one, let me clean up this one. This gap I haven't done previously took us to 786-ish. And then let me delete that. That indicates I'm not looking out for this gap anymore. It has closed out. Yeah, I'm terrible at going back and cleaning up my charts. So that's done. 744, that was a long time ago that touched. Yep. So that's done. Delete. What else? Look at all these gaps I've been tracking. 786. That one touched, right? 786. Yeah. Okay. Let me just flip this to the 30 minutes so I can see that better. So that one's done. If you've been with me through 34 weeks, I'm on my 35th week here. All of these gaps touched to the north side and to the south side. Wow, this was a nasty, nasty chart here. And then for the potential to the upside, excuse me, Command Z. Ooh, I just had some delicious soup that I made. Oh, I'm obsessed with soup right now. Okay, 857. It's chicken noodle soup, by the way. If you get one of those rotisseries And when you're done kind of eating the best parts that you like, just make some soup out of it. Get some Lipton soup, whatever soup you like, the packet, because I'm lazy. I'm not going to make it from scratch. And then dump in your carrots, your zucchini, everything. And it's just delicious. It's my swill and I love it. Okay, that is still in play up to 8:57. And above that, I have other gaps I'm tracking, but we're not there yet. Just 1 week at a time. Back to the 5-minute. So we are playing within -2 and 2. So all these other gaps are not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close yet, but something to be aware of. And I think that's it for me, done there. So this will be the gap to the upside. Fingers crossed we hit it. Okay, I'm going to start speeding through these because I have 10 of them to go over. 1437 is where we ended for TSLA. Down 4.45%. This is where we are. Resistance takes us back to 1459, 1529, 1563, and 1597 to the south side. 1391, 1356, and 1322. As far as your gap recap, this gap taking us down to 1319 is still in play. We tickled it finally right here, but I will extend that. And oops, I keep grabbing this in the wrong spot. It's so finicky. This will take us down to 1319. And if we continue our path downward, just, going up, going down, that could touch on Wednesday within -2 standard deviations and -2. Okay, so that's one gap. This one touched, so that's done. This baby one touched on Thursday. It opened up out of the gate on Monday, so that's done. This one opened up also last week, closed out to 1542. So we gapped up, then what goes up must come down. It filled, and you want these things to fill so it doesn't haunt us later on. So that's good, but then we crack some more. But then you would have known that because we were at resistance going down to support. You play it all day long. There are trades to the upside, to the downside, and then sideways trades. Okay, this one is still in play. Up to, Command Z there, up to 1647, and then we've got this one, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close, something to be aware of. I would have to take a look at this on the, look at this, we got this one. Don't even hold your breath on that one. We're still going down on the 5-minute time frame. The next one is Rivian, down to 1472. Option R to reset. All right, here are your price targets for Monday. 1546, 1592, and 1637 to the south side. 1454, 1362, 1318, and roughly 1270. Going down still on the 5-minute, this gap will take us up to $15.20. Oh, what am I doing? $15.20. And this one will take us to $17.47, and it starts at roughly $16.90. We've got many other gaps to the upside. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'll mark that out later. And this landmine right here at $12. And that could, if we continue south, obviously this is going to bounce us around all over the place, but it could touch on Wednesday. So I cleaned up my chart, I did the gap recap, and now to the next one. Intel. Oh, it's a bloodbath. Thank you, Murat, for pointing that out. Oh, previously this past week. He knows I own this for my mom. I'm going to have to start dollar cost averaging down, which I'm good with. That's long-term money that I don't need to live off of, so I'm good with dollar cost averaging on something that I believe in. And this is a great article. There are a couple articles that you should check out by clicking this. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to give you the price targets and get through this. Okay. We bled out and we are now at 21.48, down 26%. I'm hoping we actually get down here. That's really when I wanted to start buying again, heavy. But I will play somewhere along here. 22.29 resistance, 27.13, 29.63, 31.84. To the south side, 17.52, 15.12, and 12.69. If it came down here, I would be buying up. And the 1 year price target is $31.23. And note this huge gap. This gap is going to take us to 29.12, so very close. And if you play the deviation, that could even take us to 31.89, and that would wipe out this. So I have hope. And so we've done that. This is the gap. So that's still in place. So this is going to be the target. Obviously, it's going to take a while. 29.04 for the potential to the upside. And then we have all these other gaps. These are my previous support and resistance lines. So ignore that. That'll be retracements whenever we reverse course. But I think there's still some downward pressure still to go. Let's see. Got to turn off my phone. My friends are texting me. I'm doing a tenant renewal, so I asked for his opinion, and of course I'm recording this, and he's texting me back. All right, that's it for Intel. And the next one is CVS. Click that. So we have our price at $59.32, down 1.18%. To the north side at another level of resistance. So watch out here. We are at resistance, $59.32 and $60.06. To the south side. And watch out here, we're getting overbought on the RSI, on the 5. Middle of the trend, 58.10, 57.13, 56.65, and 56.16. Note the bounce at support, sell-off at resistance. So we've got a gap that I've been tracking here. So that touched to the downside at roughly 58.71, no longer a threat to our account. There are other threats, just not this one. And then we've got a bigger gap up here to the north side that will take us to roughly 67.70. All right. Oh, what is this gap? Oh, that one finished. Okay. And this gap is still in play. That opened up last week. And that will take us to roughly 63.19. And it begins at roughly 61.85. See, we got halfway there and then no, we couldn't finish it. It's collapsed right back down and still going down on the 5 minute. These will just be pops to get in and support to buy in, and then at resistance triggering your sell orders if that's how you play it. Nike. Oops. All right, here we are. Move this out of the way. 74.66, 75.26, and 75.84 to the south side, back at the middle of the trend. 73.49, 72.33, 71.76, and 71.18. That will take us down here to 71.36. And this one, 71.62. This one could touch, if we continue the same path, that could touch on Tuesday. But if we flush down, obviously it would be sooner. But if we slowly go down as we are, that's what I will anticipate. Note the sell-off at resistance, buy in at support, buy in at support. And do we have anything to the upside? Oh, it's like so far out. So 79.03. Oh my goodness. I need to move these out of the way. Oh my gosh, look at this. All the way up to, before it fell, 94.27. Not in the channel. Oops. Not in the zone, just something to be aware of. I might as well just extend this now so I don't forget later. All right. So that is a look at Nike. The next one is Dash. This one is still going up on the 5 minute time frame. All right, first your price targets. We ended the week at 117.23, up 8.35%, 120.70, 123.40, and 125.80, 115.41, 110.19, 107.73, and 104.90. For your gaps to the upside, this one is still in play. Command Z, taking us to 127. And if we continue to go up, this could touch on Wednesday at two standard deviations. And then we've got this one that opened up in the middle of the week, touched right here, so no longer a threat to the south side at 107.56. And then we bounced off support. This one looks like it touched right here, but actually it touched over there. I just extend this, remember? So, oh no, it touched right here where this thing gapped up. I consider that a closure. So that took us to 108.51. And that's all I'm tracking to the south side, it looks like. Okay, and then this little puppy opened up a gap. Let me put it on my magnet. Clean this up. Okay, we gapped up, so I anticipate a reversal to the downside. And because this is resistance going down to support, up to resistance, and then this is support, maybe we'll bounce, get halfway through, and then trickle our way down to touch this thing. And that one could touch on Tuesday, unless we just flush right down. All right, we've got this gap still in play, taking us down to 101.02. And that is it. The next one is Boeing. Oh, poor Boeing. Still bleeding out. Look at this. Wait a second. Let me me make sure I didn't. Command Z. Oops. It's Option R. Oops. There we go. Tracking the prices here. Can you tell I don't like the way my HOA is run, or one of them? Yeah. People, we need fresh new faces. We need term limits. We need people who get bids for everything and not keep the status quo. That's how you lose money. You got to constantly get bids for your community manager, bids for your insurance, bids for your lawyer, bids for everything, because if you let these people just get their contracts without cracking open the books, or just because it's easy or you're friends with them, that is not the way to run an association. Okay, and get on the board, people. Please get on your board at least once to see how things operate. And now that I've been on the board, I see how things are operate, and I like to let people know how it operates. Okay, 179.69, 184.97, and 190.21. 158.42, 152.85, 147.62. This gap opened up, still in play from last week, taking us to 177.71. And what about this one? Yep, this one is still in play, it looks like. I mean, I've been tracking this forever. I'll just extend that out. We'll extend this one, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. All right. 147.49. Wow, that would be crazy if we get there. All right, that's a look at Boeing. And finally, Tesla. So we ended the week at 207.67, down 4.24%. To the north side, 210.02, 221.20, 226.71, 232.77, 198.59, 193.16, and 187.53. This gap is still in play, taking us down to 197. Look at all these gaps that have filled to the upside. Oh my goodness. And now retracing down. Oh, and we've got this puppy to deal with, down to 144.88, if I didn't say that already. All right, this one touched. So this is no longer a threat to us right here at 210.49. Done. Done. It started at, wait, no, that's a different one. Okay. It started at 218.05-ish. Now this one, I just extended it out, but I think it touched, yeah, it touched right. It actually touched right there. Okay, down to 219.98, no longer a threat to our account to the south side. And then this one, because again, I just extended, I have no idea when I look at it where it's going to touch, and it touched right there on Thursday. And let me clean up this one. So this gap will take us to 246.23, not in the channel. Oops. This, we are going down farther away from this touch point. Gosh darn it. All right, so that is still in play. That's done. I'll go through and look at these on a different time frame so I can clean up my chart and not bore you. All right, and that's the end of the tickers for this week of August 5th through the 9th. And I will take a look at this maybe during the middle of the week and give you an update, or just pick out some important ones. But the next video I want to work on, thanks to Marat, Trader Marat, talked about Nancy Pelosi's stocks, and I have not looked at her stock plays I did an actual video back on, I looked it up, January 2nd, I believe, of 2022. I don't know if I deleted the video yet, but I do have it. And so I will update that chart. So right now it's time for me to end this. I'm going to go have some pistachio ice cream, some Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I've been dying for ice cream. And speaking of, I do need to do a chart analysis on Unilever. They own Ben & Jerry's. I bought this a long time ago for my mom. I'm up 40%. Did I track? Yeah, I bought it at $53.79 for her. And we have gaps to the downside, and I don't want to overstay my welcome, even though there's a lot more upside potential, I think. Oh, we did hit the 1 year, but the next one is 73.40, and I'm not sure if I should hang out till we get there. I kind of want to, but I don't want to lose my gains because I did that for YUMC, and I lost. Well, I'm down now. I was up 40%. I didn't capture the gains, so I don't know what to do. If you have a thought, let me know. But that is a look at all of the trades for the gap and goes for this week. Have a great trading week, everyone.